Hello, Pioneers, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Candle Close News. In today's episode, we'll be discussing our weekly technical analysis on yesterday's Sunday weekly close. Certainly wishing you all a blessed Monday Moon Day. Sending you all much loves and high vibrations wherever you are out in the galaxy and matrix. Definitely going to be discussing some things today and going over a red pill that hopefully encourages you all to do your own due diligence and research moving forward. And let's get our display capture transitioned. Sorry about that. Currently sitting at about 41K for Bitcoin right now. Not surprising after we got our rejection from our 48K range, the top side of our trend line that we've had drawn on this channel for going back quite some time now, leading all the way back into last year's April highs. And talking about this moment right now, when we look back and we know that there's typically a 12-month period between, highs and cycle lows. Typically in altcoins, we see this mainly when we have a 12-month alt season. Like back in 2018, we reached our bear market bottom about a year later, roughly 12 months. So when we measure this out to now, to about a 12-month period, 365 days, it's roughly coming out to around April 15th. Again, this 15 number being very important this year that we're paying attention to. So a few days away from that, being right before our full moon on April 16th, these lows are something that isn't typically surprising to me, especially when we take a look at some of these altcoins and we measure back from April of last year, and we look at this, we see the same thing, about a 12-month period between highs and lows. So we know that this blow off top in structure about a year ago roughly is something to keep in mind when we see these cryptos right now that are starting to show us a possible low that has been formed in the structure. This is a spring and Wyckoff accumulation for things like VeChain, XDC as well. Same thing. About a year since our lows and highs came in. Obviously XDC and a few other coins, they continued on this pump around September. HBAR was one of those as well. So not quite a year. So we'll have to continue to see how some of these coins play out. But this was something that I wanted to remind us all of. Don't trip. Use these opportunities to buy the dip and accumulate. Not financial advice, but there are a lot of cryptos, if we are considering our measurement here of a 12-month top to bottom in structure, it's literally 1 year in between. Showing that on the Bitcoin charts as well, in this long, boring, sideways, up and down price action, setting lower lows and higher lows in the structure, setting higher lows in the structure and higher highs as well. Just staying in between this trend line that we have, this bull pennant, bull flag, whatever you'd like to call it, going back in some time, but it's ultimately a sideways trading range that we've been in for over a year now, almost. So this is the most important thing to add, because what's happening during this time period this year, importantly, is the 7-year sabbatical cycle and the Shemitah. We're in the 49th 7-year sabbatical cycle in Shemitah, heading into the 50th year next year being the biblical Jubilee year. So very important financially as to why we are seeing this volatility go up and down. And I bring this time frame up so much because we can look back throughout history and see every 7 years we have huge volatile periods in the markets, these boom and bust cycles that we've been experiencing in crypto as well. 7 years ago was 2015, that time frame of the Chinese market collapse, creating a major logistic issue. 7 years prior to that, we were in the 2008-9 housing market crisis. 7 years prior to that, it was the bubble of the dot-com era and 9/11, so forth and so forth. These past 3 cycles rose up in value up until May, okay, you guys? And all of them came out of March lows, where we were just previously at, okay? around the 21st and 22nd of March. Remember that. This is something I've been going over for quite some time, and they tend to instill fear around these March lows. C19, around the lows that came in 2 years ago, leading into this period. Again, March lows. Go back in time and do your research in the charts, and that's to instill fear. Okay, so what did we just see? A war narrative get started on 322. Okay, not surprising. So anyone taking advantage of these time frames is usually setting themselves up for a dramatic spike towards the upside, and that's not me sharing hopium or anything, just me fundamental technical analysis using historical data, going back in time, paying attention to the world stage and the narratives, using the charts and reading them from a technical viewpoint. We could be doing that very well same thing by buying these dips right now. Not financial advice. So with all of this being said, I do expect to continue to see April remain bullish up until around the eclipse on the 30th, and we'll talk about some key dates like tomorrow, the 12th, the 16th, the full moon, of course the 21st, 22nd of the month in this video possibly. We know how important the 21st, 22nd is, so if I don't get to that in this video, then just keep that in mind. But we know how important April 420 is, that 42 and the 42nd year anniversary of the Georgia Guidestones. I expect it to be very volatile, possibly around this time period. So with April 30th being the eclipse, I'm definitely, it's definitely causing me to think that we could be seeing some kind of pressure cooker event coming for cryptocurrency and a massive volatile spike. Either way, upside or down, who knows? We know what happened around our last eclipse on December 4th. This massive liquidation event that happened on a Saturday, a Saturn day. Okay, there's no institutions trading, no nothing. It's all retail. All right, so an isolated liquidation event happened on this last eclipse. What happens next? Does it liquidate people going to the upside thinking we're going to dip down? Who knows? But this is leading into May too. Sell in May, walk away. Something we've talked about traditionally that happens. We've seen that last year before again. An automatic rally back up to new all-time highs. So could we be seeing that now into May and a sell in May, walk away scenario? I don't know. We'll have to continue to see how this plays out. But any movement to the upside is probably going to be a great de-risking opportunity, especially this late in a bull run. Not financial advice. But we've seen these two eclipse periods going back right here to December and November bring volatile price action, as well as April and May of last year bringing volatile price action. We've got two more coming up. This is our third double eclipse period in a year now. And since this sideways price action, we want to see what happens here and pay attention, leading into another Mercury in retrograde period, which are typically sideways and boring, leading to a pump, or they're just straight out pumps. All right, so that's something we've exposed here going back in time as well. And I just wanted to share all that before we, went into the monotony and minutia that we usually get into. Just overall view, still pretty bullish, holding the 236 right now. We fell below it, and retesting 40K right now is not surprising to me. In the 40-day time period, that is a blood sacrifice ritual utilized by the occult, going all the way back to 322. So March 22nd all the way to May 1st. Mayday, mayday, mayday. So again, we're still in this 40-day time period and seeing a 40K Bitcoin. If we were to see that and continue to drain down, that wouldn't be surprising to me. This is a great time we should be studying and developing our exit strategies. Again, mine is on sale now before my website is released on a discounted price for any and everyone who's willing to participate. Thank you for all that have viewed it and sent the encouraging words. Much love there. Thank you. I spent a lot of time and shared a lot of key things in those exit strategies and targets. A lot of hard work went into that, so grab it while it's still on discount, Pioneers. But this is something we should be educating ourselves about and continuing on our path of knowledge. And it's definitely a time frame where we start to chop around quite a bit, building structure. And I've explained this. And now that we're here, we could really be trading these opportunities and packing our bags for higher price levels. Not financial advice. But again, although we've seen Bitcoin push up a little bit, we've got stopped out at our trend line we've drawn right past our 382 and came back down to retest this 236. This isn't extreme, no washout, no huge pumps, just building structure, slowly retesting this 236. Kind of like a backup period, I do believe, before again breaking back up towards around that 47K area and getting back above. So we know right now we are 5 days away from our full moon, and we know how typically a 3 to 5 day window before on or 3 to 5 day window after the full moons bring our bearish energy into the markets. And again, that's not surprising to see this leading into the full moon, and we're still 5 days away on April 15th or 16th and 17th being our full moon. So very important. We can continue to bleed out down towards the bottom side of this trend line at around 39-40K leading into then. So very important. We can even wick down below. Hopefully we don't do that and we continue to see this, 37K our low in the structure. But if we typically, don't close daily candles above this, we can wick down and then be bought right back up. So very important to keep in mind as well, approaching this full moon. Whenever we're getting our lows in this cycle, it's typically around the full moon or the 21st, 22nd of the month, okay? And when we're getting our high, it's typically leading into the full moon or around the new moon, of the month. So very important. An indicator we've been using for quite some time. I've been teaching all this for months now, and it's played out extremely well when utilizing the esoteric and getting the esoteric, the truth hidden in plain sight. Believe it or not, it sort of slows down the time frame a little bit every month in your mind. You don't get caught up in the monotony of what Twitter is putting out or other content providers, etc. Pull up the Bollinger Bands, and again, we're retesting the bottom side of the Bollinger Band right here at around 41K. Not surprising, okay? So that's very important to keep that in mind as well. When we get to the top, we typically come back and retest the bottom if we can't hold support at this median. So until we see Bitcoin solidifying and closing daily candles above this 200 simple moving average at around 48K, that 47K area I was talking about earlier, then we're going to continue to remain cautious right now. We've came back and retested this 111-day moving average as well as this 55 simple moving average. Okay, we fell below them, not surprising. We just had Satoshi Nakamoto's 47th birthday where we hit 47K. We prepared you for over a month in advance for that. So very important. Not surprising. So coming back and retesting this 55-day moving average, we know Satoshi gives us that 55. So right after his 47th birthday, not surprising. We come back and retest that 55 simple moving average at 41K, 40K roughly. So we'll go ahead and go right here. Something I share sometimes is how we break down these dates using its numerology, etc. Going back to our pivot point being Rosh Hashanah and the Shemitah. Today being 7-month, 4-day connection. Since then, we know how important that 74-47 connection is in our work. Something I'm going to be breaking down quite extensively today for you all. But matching date numerologies adding up to the 57 today on Monday, Moon Day, the day of the moon, giving us that 57 as well. Very powerful today. Not surprising to see this sell-off leading into today so far, giving us our lows. Very important, giving us that matching 21 when we added it up as well, and then again that 21 and 12 as above so below connection here. The 37 very powerful. And we know that ties us into Zeus. And today being the 101st day of the year, giving us a restart, when we drop the 0, we get the 11, the same as today's date, the 11th, okay? So very important. Very important. But we know most importantly, this 74 connection we get right here in, Jesus right here giving us that 74:11 we were just talking about, and Lucifer. And this has nothing to do with religion or religion. Okay, this has everything to do with duality, okay, and proving that duality is a very important thing to take note of and to master, okay. And this other very important 74 connection being hexagon, that same 115 we got in Lucifer, again, that 38 connection in Lucifer, all right, very important. It is Saturn's hexagon, Father Time, Chronos, Lucifer, Jesus. Okay, again, same connection here. Duality. All right, the master creator and destroyer. So very important. All right, I'm going to break this down extensively today. So very important. But again, I show you that 47 and 74 connection you get in Neo, because you are Neo. Okay, 47, 74, or Trinity, giving us that same 115 you get in Lucifer, and that same 74, 47 connection, that 43 that ties us right back to Neo, 34. How about that? Because you are the Jesus or Lucifer, the little devil or the little Jesus down here in this prison planet, whichever one you choose to be. And we break this down, hexagon mainly being the NWO's symbol, you guys. Again, connecting us to Saturn, Father Time. They worship Saturn, Chronos. Okay? Lucifer is actually Lupiter. Do your own research. But it's very important. But undeniable connections, this 74-47 connection ties us back to time, because it's infinite. It is infinity. It is a constant, ladies and gentlemen, giving us that same 47. This has everything to do with you figuring out that you are not the body and becoming illuminated and enlightened to how much you truly do not know. Okay? This goes very deep. It is not about good or bad. It's not about evil, right or wrong. None of that. It's about higher learning. All right? So, very important. We can't fall into this trap of duality when we're trying to continue on our progress of reaching a higher vibration in our godlike consciousness. We've got to protect ourselves from the things that could infringe upon our comfortability, which is duality. It can highly do that. So that's something I want to master and something I want to share with you all, so you can be masters and masons of your own life. Pioneers, this is highly kept from us and very important, and why I share it with you all. So again, not even going to sugarcoat this. We'll continue to break this down exoterically and getting the truth hidden at a plain sight, because it's about mastering your soul versus your ego. Okay? Something that I even battle with at times myself. Show prime examples of how Lucifer can take a hold of me, and I step out of that Jesus that I try to be each and every day. But I want to bring this to you all because I'm only here to connect the dots with facts, figures, numbers, logic, common sense, and a highly conscious viewpoint. Hopefully you can make an informed decision using discernment and the ability to judge well after viewing this. I'm not asking you to trust a word I say. I'm asking that you trust the feelings and vibrations that manifest within inside your body while viewing this work. Okay, and then act accordingly in your everyday lives. I'm asking you to don't sit there content with the things that you've always been told without doing any research, any due diligence, and without questioning any of it. Because if you feel that you're not a part of this matrix or belong to this matrix, it's because you came here to start and create a new one. And the magic wand is already attached to you. How about that? Can I get a hello? You see, I want to purposely be the throat chakra that gives you that final touch and tap on your pineal gland that awakens you. I want to remind you all of yourself and remind you of how powerful and great you are. That's what I wanted to do for people on the world stage when speaking my truths. Bring the power and potential of them out. That's why I'm 100% all the time and trying to always evolve. Because when you're 100% all the time and you're trying to always evolve, you're always getting rewarded. Period. Especially if the version of yourself is always transmuting their energy through love and through gratitude. And you're always speaking your truths, pioneers, and your words as if you're viewed by 1 million people, or as if your words mattered, as if they were coming from your heart space. I do this, okay? And I speak my truths to the ears of leaders so that my words are heard by the ears of leaders, okay? The belief system requires an immense amount of attention. And eventually we have to ask ourselves, do I want to keep giving away my energy? Do I want to give any and everything my energy and just going with what the masses say? Do I just want to give everything externally outside of me my energy? Do I want to continue to allow this structural thing to harvest my energy? Because I'm okay with all of that, pioneers. They can miss me with it. Alright? Like eventually for me to be set free, I have to learn to let go of everything external, right? See, belief systems are all about war and groupthink. They are all about battle. My side's right, your side's wrong. So stop fighting is what we need to do and just dance. Can I get a hello? So let's get straight into this and breaking this down. This duality that we're going to be talking about, soul versus ego. Your Jesus versus your Lucifer, because you have a great power, and with great power, pioneers, comes great responsibility. But greatness only comes to those who seek reward from great risk. It is an actual requirement to risk so that you can be one day rewarded. And you're not risking by believing in somebody else's groupthink. Remember that. And I wanted to start this decode out right there. Sharing how we're going to break this down using astrology, numerology, the periodic table of elements, pi, the golden ratio of phi, alchemy, both the cards of illumination, the tarot cards. Undeniable things. Point blank period. We're going to use astrotheological teachings from an ancient prehistoric world. Gematria, numerology. Point blank period. Multiple things that I can share with you how we're going to break this decode down and express why it's so important to master duality so you can master your life and stop losing to your shadow side. Okay? Look at God right here, giving us the 156 in numerology, tying us in through mathematics being the prime number to 9/11. So in September 11th, 2001, what was tied to this date right here? Breaking 9/11 down in the string of pi, it's occupied in the 28-digit decimal placement of pi. That's linked to architect and Lucifer, the light bearer, the sun devil. Okay? Alchemy, the 28th element is nickel, which is known as devil's copper. So again, no light, no photosynthesis. No light, no life on the planet. Beyond all of this, we get beyond alchemology, pi, numerology, gematria, mathematics, all the way into the cards of illumination. Okay? Past the elements and the Elohim, because we are made in the image of the Elohim, we are made up of elements. Remember that. Then we get to Lucy in the Sky. And then the tarot cards. So very important. I know you've probably never heard this saying, Lucy in the Sky with diamonds, but just go and do your own due diligence and research. Look it up. It's Lucifer. So very important. We're going to be breaking down a lot of things, but when we look at astrology and we see that our sun comes into one of these zodiacs each and every month, and babies are born, right? Breaking down our cosmic blueprint and DNA. We have a sun sign and a moon sign. Remember that. You could have a Cancer sun and a Taurus moon, etc. You'd have to do your own due diligence here and see where your sun and moon sign fall. But again, the zodiac affects our cosmic blueprint as human beings. Very important to remember that. The sun matters. Alright. But let's go ahead and break this down. The sun is your soul. Your soul is your sun. So it's something we need to break down. The 19 we get in soul ties us to the 19th tarot card, the sun card. We have souls on the bottom of our feet. Remember that. They connect us to Gaia, Mother Nature. Okay, so 19th being the sun card is our sun, is our soul, our currency, our energy, our light. Okay, we also have an ego, or devil. All right, or Lucifer. Very important. All right, undeniable right here. We have a Jesus, a light side, and a Lucifer, a dark side, an ego, and a soul. This is our boss, the light inside of us. Those of us that say you are a light worker, here you go. You're a sun worker. You're pledging your work to the sun, the light. Okay, as you play out your avatar down here on earth, throughout your zodiac sign, etc., throughout your soul and your ego. Okay? You can't deny this, ladies and gentlemen. I show prime examples of this. I try and always speak to others how great they can be and how truthfully powerful they are. I try to be Jesus all the time and preach to others. Okay? And then lo and behold, I show my Lucifer, my devil side sometimes as well. We must tame the devil, the ego. And to be able to understand this unbalance is so humbling. But when we continue to get into this breakdown of the spirit and ego, you can't have one without the other. Your ego is your identity. Can I have your ID, please? Okay? It's impossible not to have an ego or a spirit or a soul. Spirit, soul, both 19. Tying us back in the sun. They both start with the letter S. Sun starts with S. The sine wave. Okay? Very important. Number 19 versus the 15. When we add 19 plus 15, pull out your calculators, you get 34. You find 34 in the digit decimal placement of pi at the 88th digit decimal placement is where you find 34. Okay? Alright. You find 88 at the 34th decimal placement of pi. You can't make this up using mathematics. 88 ties us back into Ra, radium. Ra being the ancient sun god. Right here, your sun. Okay? You're highly tied to the sun and the moon. Okay? So very important. You can't make this up, you guys. Your sun is your soul. It is your battery. Very important. Battery giving us 19. Soul giving us 19. Spirit giving us 19. Sun being the 19th card in the tarot deck. Okay? Undeniable connections right here. This is your Jesus and your Lucifer right here that we were just talking about. Your spirit and your ego. So what runs the so below as above? Okay? That voice in your head has a big part of this right here. Okay? You're the little battery that feeds the big battery, the sun. Okay? What the soul is a circuit with the sun here on this earth. That is very important. Okay? You're celestial light bodies in a physical being, in carbon man. You were manifested into this body. Very important. Just like a car. If you take the cells out of the battery of a car, you have no battery. You have no starting to your car. Same thing with the avatar. You take your spirit, your soul out of your avatar. You have no body. You have no life. It is dead. Okay? Period. Very important. So, breaking this down even more, breaking down the number 19, we find it at the 37th and 38th decimal placement of pi. Okay? Tying us into Jack and Jill in the cards of illumination, because that's who we are. We are Jack and Jill. Jesus and Lucifer. Point blank period. The masculine feminine and the masculine male. Okay? Very important. Point blank period. So, undeniable. We are Jack and Jill that go up the hill to look for a pail of water in this prison planet. It is all about our identity, our ego, our name. Tying us in here, giving us the same 15. Can I have your ID, please? Your name, your ego. Tying us into right here. You can be Jesus or Lucifer. Your choice. Okay? When you study the word ego, it starts with E. Etymology of E ties you to man. The 5th letter. Okay? A, B, C, D, E. 5 ties you to ID. Can I see your ID, please? Okay? We're all tied here. Undeniable. To the sun. To the 5th symbol in the Chinese culture. The number 5. The dragon, which is the freaking sun. Okay? Tying us into the Hierophant. The 5th card in tarot. Alright? In astrology, the sun rules over the 5th house. Okay? So very important. Undeniable. Spread out your arms and legs with your head. You create the pentagram. The Vitruvian man. Okay? The 5-pointed star. Undeniable. You cannot make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, Lucifer is the sun devil. Jesus. Undeniable. The architect. The bringer of light. They are both called the light bearer. Do your research on the demiurge, or Shiva and Shakti. In every culture, you have a creator and destroyer. Anything more, anything less, and everything is unbalanced. Okay? So undeniable. We find 28 at the 33rd digit decimal placement of pi, which ties us into the phoenix. In Greek, we see right here gives us the 33. Okay? Undeniable. When written architect in Greek, we get the 33, the phoenix. Point blank period, the light bringer. Lucifer, giving us that 28. Again, tying us in here to the light bearer. Okay, in Genesis 1:3, it says, let there be light. Okay, point blank period. You have to say and use the letters of the alphabet to speak, let there be light. Giving us the 103. Drop the 0, you get the 1-3. Point blank period. Okay? When written in Greek, in true Hebrew, and the original scripture, you get the 52 that ties us back into where we live. Earth. And where does Jesus and God rule over? Earth. And they are one and the same. Point blank period. Okay? Undeniable. Just wanted to share this with you all and break this down so you can master duality. Point blank period. You can master the light within inside of you. That 56, that gives you 11. Okay, let there be light. That same 56 we get. Okay, you are the light. Point blank period. You can be a little Jesus or a little devil, a sun devil down here. Point blank period. Okay, all that 11, that 56, 5 plus 6 is 11, ties us back into duality. And the 47 number, 4 plus 7 is 11, the magical number of magnetism, of maj, to be able to have power. 11 is duality, aka Jesus and Lucifer. Okay, it is the twin pillars, Jachin and Boaz. Alright, point blank period. Undeniable, ladies and gentlemen. It ties you right back here into what you are made up in the image of the Elohim. You are made up of elements, point blank period. And when you break them down, you have matching numerology with Jesus and Lucifer. That gives you the 4774 connection that ultimately breaks all the way down to 11 versus 11, opposing forces. That is what you are. Undeniable. And we'll leave that there. Just want to encourage you all to be the best little Jesus or devil you can be down here. I believe some of us are impossible to parasite and program, and as if we arrived here in this matrix with antivirus software, okay, protection, all right, and this ability that some of us that we have, it allows us to see clearly, to open our eyes to some basic things that we were taught in life that we can use moving forward, and it allows us to question everything. So we begin a journey where we're seeking freedom and truth, but we ultimately come to a realization and a great apocalypse, an unveiling that shows us just how little we actually do know and how much we don't. Okay? You see, this is literally where the word Messiah comes into play. Because all that word means is you're realizing that you're awakening. And I'm aware that's going to offend some of you and cause you to short circuit and flip out, but you probably took it way out of context if it did. And if this video was to offend somebody, then it's probably because you've allowed yourself to be perfectly programmed and indoctrinated into somebody else's groupthink. And while you're putting your faith into someone else's groupthink, you're slowly becoming a part of the shape and physicality of that trap, okay? And once something becomes plasmatized in the physical, it limits your expansion, and you are no longer allowed to roam freely about an idea. So until somebody wakes up to who he or she really is, which is a god or goddess within, Genesis 1:26-27 literally tells us this, that we were made in the image of the Elohim in the original scripture. Well, then you're going to continue to stay stuck in somebody else's groupthink and trap, because, you know, these are the people that are externalizing all of their power and giving it to somebody, something else, etc., instead of believing in their self. Okay, they believe in the story, the greatest story ever told, that was written by man at the Council of Nicaea. It was written and altered and changed. Okay, and now they no longer believe in themselves. They believe in the image of the Pope's son, Caesar Borgia, etc., instead of believing in their self, and the man in the mirror, or the woman in the mirror. Instead of doing their own questioning and research or reading, they believe the story. But that's ultimately something passed down through verbal tradition, and is ultimately the word of the winner, not the word of the truth that is written. Remember that. And that might be a tough pill for some people to swallow. This is the red pill. But his story, okay, is a prime example of that. And you know, but people want to believe in the script, that is scripture, instead of tapping in the power that are their own beliefs and stepping out of that group think. You know, just imagine how immense the change would be in this matrix if we did that as a collective consciousness, tapped into our potential. Would probably shatter this firmament, and would probably shatter this entire reality. All we got to do is dance, okay? Do a little samba, baby. I mean, the ending of the third matrix explains it all best. You know, when the audience finds out that Agent Smith is actually fucking Neo, okay? He's his shadow, his mirror self, just like his devil and Jesus side, okay? That same ideology we've shared here. All right, they need each other to coexist. They are one and the same. All right, they complete each other for perpetual harmony and balance. The creator and destroyer. Anything less, anything more, our realm is unbalanced, you know? And we can really realize our unbalances and egos is what I'm trying to share in this video with you all. And to be able to come to terms with that is so humbling. You know, even just for a second to be able to grab hold of that. you know, to be able to notice when you're being unbalanced. That's an immense power to have, pioneers, and you have it. Use it. Tame that devil and that ego. And anything that causes you to give up your energy externally instead of going within, it's way too damn expensive, pioneers. You know, and you don't need to buy that. So just keep that in mind. And let's get back into the technical analysis. But I had to share this decode after being able to come to a highly... Oh, Lord, I lost my mic connection. Sorry about that. After coming to this highly conscious realization of, you know, how important this is with the interaction I got into with someone the other day, explaining this. You know, it's deep, and we all need to tame the devil and master our ego. So very important. Let's get back into breaking down this decode and you know, looking into tomorrow being a hopefully very balancing energy. I don't know, we'll see what happens coming out of today, the 101st day of the year. We'll have to see what happens. We know tomorrow is the 102nd day of the year, the mirror of 201. We know what event 201 was, the 58 and 22 connection. We get in that tomorrow with the 75, the mirror of 57 we got today. So very important, just very powerful connections. We can expect to see some possible volatility because we know CRYP cryptocurrency gives us that 75 connection. So very important tomorrow. We'll pay attention to that as well. Again, being the mirror of 57, we know we get that 57 in Society of Jesus. Again, this video was talking about Jesus extensively, so very important. You are Jesus. You're gods and goddesses created in the image of the Elohim, pioneers. Use that. So again, we got our full moon coming up as well around the 4/16 date, numerology being 221 days from the start of Rosh Hashanah. And if we go back to the start, the original first day of Rosh Hashanah, it gives us that 222 connection to our 4/16 full moon. So a very powerful day right here, giving us that 62 as well. We know we're in the year of the Platinum Jubilee, which gives us that 62 as well. So something I'm paying attention to as well. Again, this day being very important. Again, could we go all the way down to that 39, 40K range on this day? I don't know. We'll have to pay attention and see. Just something we'll have to consider on paying attention to. We know that April is traditionally the real second month of the year, so this would actually be 216, and we know 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. So again, a very powerful connection. We know what happened on 216 in February 16th. We got a sell-off on our full moon in February on 216. So who knows what happens right here? Maybe we pump up as above, so below connection here. I don't know. Just very important to pay attention to moving forward. All right. Let's see where else I want to go with that. It's definitely going to be a very interesting week, though. This is the 14th week of the year, and we know last year in the 14th, 15th week of the year in April, we were reaching we were breaking out into our highs in the 14th and 15th week of the year back here in April leading into May. So 15 this year being the year of the tiger, that's something we're paying attention to extensively right here. Undeniable. We get that 15 in tiger. We're in the year of Jupiter, so undeniable. Leading into the 15th week of the year, we'll have to pay attention to how that plays out. All right. And we'll tie this day all the way back to our December 4th eclipse, because we have our next eclipse coming up. So it was 12/4, tying into today and tomorrow. We get that 47 connection we made earlier, 4 months, 7 days. So again, 47 being a very powerful number. Again, giving us that 57 connection today, as well as December 4th. We got that 57 connection in Rosh Hashanah. So all of these dates giving us this 57. We're getting lows on all of these days. December 4th was a sell-off. Today's a sell-off. Rosh Hashanah, that 57 day was a sell-off. So again, this 57 tying us back into Society of Jesus again, giving us the 57. So just very interesting to see how all these numbers are coming into play and tying us in the markets today to a red day in the markets. December 4th being a red day in the market, being 4 months, 7 days from now to then. December 4th, the last eclipse period right here to now. So again, what could we start seeing our breakout towards the upside, bringing our kind of inverse head and shoulders pattern playing out here? I don't know. We'll have to see. That's pretty ugly, to be honest, you guys. Something I'm just very interested to see how it plays out. This 2/22 being April, the first true second month of the year. We know the 21st, 22nd month of the year, we tend to be bearish around this time frame when microcycle lows coming in. So I'll have to wait and see how this 2/22 leading to 2/23 plays out. Again, using the real occultic calendar, not the Gregorian calendar that they give us. So we got another 2/22 date coming up. That's typically where we see some sell-offs around that 2/22 number. 9/11 to the C19 sell-off was 222 months exactly. So very important. We have to keep our emotions on the sidelines leading into that 2/23 skull and bones 2/23. So very important. The last full week of our 40-day blood sacrifice ritual leading into Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. So let's keep our emotions on the side and let's analyze all of these date connections closely and see what happens throughout this next 2-week time period. I ultimately see April ending bullish, and that's my bias, throwing that out there. My truths with everything I'm sharing with you all and breaking this down exoterically to get the esoteric truth hidden in plain sight. I want to get a lot of the truth aspect in here in my work. Not look at it as an investment, whatever, or nothing. I'm looking at this as a overall game that's played by these elites, and I play it like that. Not financial advice, but I'm able to do some amazing things with some of these connections that we make here on the Daily Candle Close News, and I just wanted to share this with you all. You might feel like an idiot for a long time viewing this work until you're able to start to master where my mind frame of the mad scientist behind the curtain is at. This community that we're doing is probably the closest thing to time, being able to time these markets. And this isn't, my invention or something I've found. It's just something that's been happening for quite some time, obviously, in history. And, it's impressive to see. But what we're seeing is the cyclical nature of these things play out time and time again, not only on the world stage and in the markets, the news, etc., but, it's amazing when you break it all down, is all I'm saying. But with all that being said, I'm probably going to go ahead and leave this video there. I just wanted to come out and do a quick decode and, do some technical analysis and throw it out there for you all to stay informed on what was going on. Right now, retesting this 236, getting ready to head into the full moon. Not surprising. We'll have to continue to see how some of these moving averages play out moving forward, and continue to ride out the monotony and minutia of what goes on in the near distant future. Right now, the 8 is retesting this 55 exponential moving average, and that's something that is pretty bearish. We were able to get back above the 200. We failed to hold support. That's not surprising to see a rejection from the 200 exponential moving average, especially when we see that the 200 simple moving average is where we were stopped out right here at that 47K. So again, just a backup period is what I think we're going through before we see another leg up. Not financial advice. Again, we're retesting the bottom side of the Bollinger Bands. We're being held on daily candles right now to hold that bottom. Again, we're downside implied for the short term over the next day or two, leading into around April 13th, 14th, and into the full moon, the 21st, 22nd of the month. We're trying to keep one foot in the matrix and one foot out and playing this game cautiously. You know, we're still paying attention to our dead cat bounce. That is the first scenario in my exit strategy, which is not far from now if we were to see that. So if you have not viewed the exit strategy, you're going to want to pay attention to a 51K Bitcoin. So look forward to you all enjoying and getting that exit strategy in the near distant future. It's ready for anyone to view on Facebook, and you know, we'll talk about that. Message me down below if you're interested. But with all that being said, take care and God bless, pioneers. We'll see you in the next one.